Today we've got games 2 and 3 of the NLDS here in year number 4 of the San Francisco Giants franchise here on MLB The Show 24. Last episode we started the postseason. We found out that we'll be playing the Reds in the first round, who swept the Cubs in the wild card series. But we really took care of business in this first game, winning 11-3. The offense was dominant. 16 hits, 4 walks. Crawford, Sabol, Garrett all going deep. Crawford a triple shy of the cycle. Sabol drove in 4 runs. All 10 players who got an at-bat in this game ended up with at least 1 hit. Kyle Harrison, meanwhile, had a shutout go over 6 innings. Got a little sloppy at the end with the bullpen, but we were up by so much it didn't really matter. Game 1 really could not have gone any better. The offense was terrific against the former Giant Tristan McKenzie, and then it got even worse when the Reds went to the pen. Now, of course, there are still some questions on how we're going to manage the rest of this series. We made the bold decision by starting Kyle Harrison in Game 1, even though he's not our ace, with the reasoning being that the Reds are a very lefty-heavy lineup, especially given their injuries. Elly De La Cruz is good against everybody, while Matt McLain and Chas McCormick are lefty mashers. So the thought process is, with the guys who are successful against lefties unavailable, if this series goes 4 or 5 games, I would rather have Harrison ready to make another start than anybody else in the rotation. Sandy Alcantara will start in Game 2, Logan Webb will go in Game 3, and if this series goes past 3 games, who really knows what we're going to do after that, but there's only one way to find out. Game 2 in San Francisco with Sandy Alcantara facing off against his former team. And then Game 3 headed to Cincinnati. We'll see if we can get the sweep winning these next 2 games or if the Reds can make this a series. Game 2 here in the Bay. The Giants look to take a 2-0 lead here in the NLDS, coming off a really impressive Game 1 victory, 11-3. The plate discipline, the contact, the power, the situational hitting, everything was there offensively. And what I've preached throughout the month of September is us getting hot at the right time. We had the best record in the MLB after April, but playoff success is not determined in April. It's determined in July during the trade deadline, and then late in the year during the end of August into September, which playoff teams are playing well, which pitching staff is hot, which lineup is producing. And I really feel like that's us. The starting rotation's been really good as of recent. The bullpen's been a little bit more up and down since early in the year, but otherwise the rotation's playing great. The lineup is playing great. And that was reciprocated in Game 1. Hopefully that can be the case again here tonight. Sandy Alcantara acquired at the trade deadline from the Cincinnati Reds. The second time that he has faced off against his former team. First go around, he ended up throwing a shutout. So we'll see if he gets as lucky here in Game 2 of the NLDS as he starts with Tyler Wade ahead 3-2, and he goes down on the 12-6 curve. Nice pitch by Sandy Alcantara for the second out of the inning. Yes, Tyler Wade is still hitting number 2 in the lineup in the big 2027. Juan Soto goes down looking on the circle change, and Sandy Alcantara retires the side, strikes out a pair, and he is through the first perfectly as we go to the bottom half of the inning. I think Nick Lodolo is this team's best pitcher. The young all-star has really progressed into a good player. So far, he has 1 start in the postseason. That was Game 1 of the wild card against the Cubs. 6 innings of 1-run ball. Tommy Rogers leads things off. He goes down looking. The plan with Rogers is that he's going to lead off against lefties, and he's going to bat 9th, essentially as our second leadoff against righties. Stone Garrett now with 2 away. Rips this one into the gap. That should go for extra bases. A strong Game 1 for Stone Garrett. He had a pair of hits. He went yard, and now he is into second with a double. Thought about potentially going 3. He was nearly out. The Reds nearly caught him lacking, but luckily he's safe and finds himself in scoring position for Munetaka Murakami. Flies this one into left, but it will be caught, and the Reds get out of the inning as Alex Verdugo makes the play. San Francisco with a hit, but they leave that runner stranded, and we move into the second. Jack Sawinski up for the Reds, and he chases the outside 12-6. Would have gone for a walk. Tough play. Arcia in time. Nice play there at short by Orlando Arcia as Alcantara looks to retire the side again. 3-2 for Encarnacion Strand. Again, that would have been a walk. These Reds hitters are chasing These pitches on the outside, Sandy is fooling them. 6 up, 6 down. We go bottom 2. Patrick Bailey with a liner hit hard into left center field. That one is gone! And the Giants are on the board first. A solo shot for Patrick Bailey, and it's 1-0 here in the bottom of the second of Game 2. That ball really did not go high at all. I imagine the launch angle was quite low, but Bailey hit a rocket. 111 miles an hour off the bat. He had a career-high 12 home runs in the regular season, and his first at-bat of the postseason sends another one into the stands. Here's Orlando Arcia, his first at-bat of the playoffs. Obviously, we saw him last year in the NLCS with Atlanta, and he gets aboard here with a base hit. Could the Giants and Braves play again in the NLCS? Both teams currently lead 1-0 as Hackman sends it into right near the wall, but it is caught by Juan Soto. Giants on the board, though, with a homer by Pat Bailey, and it's 1-0 as we move into the third. Sandy Alcantara has been filthy so far. These Reds players are swinging at just about everything, though. It looks like Javier Baez is at the plate with these guys' discipline. 3-2 for Matt Chapman, got him looking. That one was inside. He wanted to draw the walk, but ultimately does not get the call. Tyler Callahan, another full count here. Sandy's put himself in some close spots, but he's consistently delivered full count strikeouts. Here's another. 9 up, 9 down. A perfect 3 innings for Sandy Alcantara. The Reds without a base runner so far as it remains 1-0, and we go to the bottom of the third. Obviously, Sandy's been the story, but the offense has been pretty good so far. Stone Garrett doubled his last time up. Here he draws a walk, continuing his very strong postseason run, and he finds himself on base here with 2 away, and a nice opportunity for Munetaka Murakami as he tries to blow the doors open of this game. 2-2, lefty on lefty, got him looking. Yeah, I don't really know what he was thinking there. That was a slurve right down the heart of the plate. You got to capitalize on that. Lodolo gets through the frame as we move into the fourth. Will Benson is plonked. He was trying to swing. Ultimately does not go around, and so the perfect game is over. Wade looks to bunt him over to second. It's a bad bunt, though, so they get the out at second, but that's it. Wade is safe at first. It ends up being a fielder's choice, and the Reds end up with probably the faster of the two on base. So it kind of worked out, even though the bunt didn't work. Could have been a lot worse. 3-2 for Sawinski. He draws a walk. Sandy's put himself in a lot of full counts. His command hasn't been perfect, but the Reds are biting. 3-1 for Verdugo. He draws a walk. And the Reds, with 2 outs, have loaded the bases without getting a single base hit. Hit by pitch and a pair of walks. 3-2 for Encarnacion Strand. He puts it on the ground. If Sandy would have walked him, that would have been bad news. But luckily, he forces the ground out. And he's fired up as the Reds leave him loaded. Welcome to our world. It remains 1-0. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. A rocky inning for Sandy Alcantara, but he gets out of the jam without allowing any hits. Ian Happ flies this one into foul territory. Looks like this one will go out of play. What? They're calling that an out. Okay, I don't think the laws of physics would really work here. The ball slides down the net right into his glove. Not only did the physics not work, but I also, even if that did happen, I don't see how the MLB would allow that. I guess we're going to have to roll with it. J.P. Crawford went around, and that'll wrap up an interesting fourth inning. Lodolo retires the side in, how do I say this, in weird fashion. As we move into the fifth, 1 away here for Matt Chapman. Behind 1-2. Swings at a pitch he shouldn't have. Flown into right. Lee tracks it down. These guys are swinging at just about everything, minus the fourth inning with the walks and the hit by pitch, even though Benson practically swung when he was hit. Callahan goes down on the fastball. 5 no-hit innings for Sandy Alcantara. His command has been good and bad, but his stuff has been unhittable for Cincinnati as we go to the bottom half of the frame. Giants offense with a quiet day. 1 run, 3 hits. Got some offense going early. But Lodolo did not allow any hits during the second wave through the lineup. Rogers looks to change that. Has it near the wall, but it is caught in center field by Will Benson. Through 5. Remains 1-0 in a pitching duel. Let's see if Sandy Alcantara can keep this going into the 6th. Will Benson, 2-2. Swing and a miss on the circle change. Another punch out for Sandy. He's not a strikeout guy, but these Reds are consistently missing and whiffing. Soto flies it into left. It's caught by Garrett. This no-hitter might actually be possible. We are now through 6 innings. I'm not entirely sure how much longer Sandy's going to go. The pitch count is getting a little bit high with all the full counts in that rocky 4th inning, but he's also not showing any signs of slowing down. Lodolo isn't either, which makes it odd as to why the Reds are going to take him out, replacing him with Ty Floyd. He pitched in Game 1 of this series and was horrible. His ERA is at 40, and they're going to throw him right back into the fire against Stone Garrett. He rips this one perfectly into Triple's alley. This should be 3. What a day for Garrett. A double, a walk, and now a triple. On a night where nobody really has shown up offensively, Stone Garrett delivers once again, and the Giants have a runner 90 feet away from home plate. Munetaka Murakami lines it past the glove of Encarnacion Strand. Run scores. That one goes off the foul wall directly into the right fielder's glove, so he'll have to stay at first. But it's an RBI single. Giants lead 2-0. Maybe they shouldn't have taken Lodolo out for arguably their worst reliever. Patrick Bailey homered earlier. He sends that one, lines into right, over the glove of Encarnacion, rolls to the wall, both runners moving quickly. It's a double with Murakami still at third. He was a little slow because he thought there was a chance that the liner could have been caught. He was being diligent, but unfortunately that's going to stop him from scoring, and that was a close play. Now, if Encarnacion Strand caught it, he would have doubled him up. So we're lucky. This inning could be over. But instead, there's runners in scoring position, still only 1 out for Ian Happ. Lines this one into left. It's caught by Verdugo. Murakami heads home. The throw to the plate is going to be close. He got him! What a play by Alex Verdugo! And the Reds keep the lead at 2-0. We're able to add to the lead, get back on the board, but I feel like this inning could have gone a lot worse for Cincinnati. Nonetheless, Lodolo only let up 1 run and 3 hits through 5 innings. Floyd allowed 1 run and 3 hits in 1 inning, so they still probably shouldn't have taken him out. But again, that could have gone a lot worse as we move into the 7th. Jack Sawinski chases the 12-6 curve. Sandy Alcantara is still in the game at around 110 pitches. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last inning, regardless of how it goes. Verdugo now, 3-2, and he goes down looking on the sinker. What a pitch! On the outside part of the zone, it gets him. Christian Encarnacion Strand now up here for Cincinnati, 2-2. Rips it into right field! That one is long gone, and the Reds are right back into this game. The no-hitter is dead. The shutout is dead. Nearly lasts 7 innings, but the Reds are finally on the board. Encarnacion Strand with his 2nd home run of the postseason. And it is a 1-run deficit. Just like that, it's now 2-1. We're going to keep Sandy in the game. This likely his last batter. Keibert Ruiz lines it into right, and it's going to go for a hit. Jung-Hoo Lee could have tried to dive, make the big catch, but if he misses, that's a double at the bare minimum, maybe a triple. So this is where we're going to take Sandy out of the game. What a performance from Sandy Alcantara tonight. 6 no-hit innings. Got away from him here in the 7th. Lets up the home run. Lets up another hit. And now it's time to turn the bullpen as Sandy gets an ovation from the San Francisco crowd, dominating against his former team. The last time we saw Sandy in the playoffs on this channel, he blew Game 7 of the World Series. So this is certainly a good start to rebuilding that postseason trust, if you will. And Yel De Los Santos will replace him out of the bullpen here against Matt Chapman. And he hits this one well into left. Garrett at the track near the wall makes the catch. Reds on the board, though, here in the top of the 7th with the homer by Christian Encarnacion Strand. And it's 2-1. Cincinnati is right in this ball game. And we're going to go to the bottom half of the frame. Ty Floyd will stay in the game. I do not know why. As J.P. Crawford singles up the middle. The Giants have more hits in an inning off of Floyd than they did against Nick Lodolo. And even if they don't want to stick with Lodolo, that's one thing. But why go to your worst bullpen option? I don't get it. Orlando Arcia up now, staying in the game, despite the fact that it's a righty. And he lines it into center. That goes for a hit. Crawford digs for third. and he is safe. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Are the Reds going to take Floyd out here? Nope. Pinch hitter Brendan Donovan is up, and he singles into right. Now it's 3-1. Lodolo allows 3 hits in the first 5 innings. Floyd lets up 3 in the 6th. He lets up 3 in the 7th, with still nobody out, and finally, he's yanked for Ian Jaibo, who's been used in every postseason game for the Reds, struggled in Game 1 against us. As Tommy Rogers lines this one into right, that one is caught. Runner looks to go for third off the sacrifice, and he is out of there! San Francisco has been aggressive on the bases, and it's backfired. What a throw by Jack Sawinski. That'll bring up Jung-Hoo Lee. He's been quiet today, 0 for 3. Sends it into the opposite field, and that one's going to drop. A bloop hit for Lee. Thought about sending the runner to third. Instead, he goes back to second, and he's out. The Reds have thrown out 3 base runners over the last 2 innings. And sure, we add another run here, but it feels like we've left a lot on the board as we go to the 8th. And the closer, Camilo Duvall, comes into the game. An interesting decision here. The thought process is that Duvall really hasn't pitched in a while. He obviously didn't pitch in Game 1, and with the bye week and not being used a lot towards the end of the year, I want to get his arm loose. We're going to throw him 2 innings, or we're going to try to, see how it goes. As Will Benson goes down looking. Tyler Wade, 1-2. Swing and a miss. A quick 10-pitch inning for Duvall. That went pretty much perfectly because now he's probably going to have enough gas to go in the 9th. And even if he starts to slow down, we've got other guys in the bullpen ready to come in instead. Matt Barnes is out of the pen here for the Reds here in the bottom of the 8th. The bullpen is the real weak link with this Cincinnati team. That has certainly been the case here throughout this series against the Giants in both games as Stone Garrett goes down looking on the fastball. That'll bring up Munetaka Murakami. Drove in Garrett the last time he was up. 2-2. Swinging a miss on the splitter. Looks like he was a little bit ahead of that one. Wanted to take a healthy hack. We'll see if he can strike out the side, or at least retire the side. It's Kyler Rodriguez off the bench, singles into center. And Kyler, who had a pinch hit in Game 1, does it again here in Game 2. So Rodriguez is aboard. That'll bring up Ian Happ. He's been quiet today. Many of our star players really have not been all that good in this game, but Happ looks to change it as it's high and deep into center. At the track, at the wall, it's caught. Not quite enough carry. A 2-run lead going into the 9th inning. Camilo Duvall is already loosened up. He's already gone through a quick but successful inning. We'll see if he can do it again, complete the save, and put the Giants up 2-0. With one away, Sawinski goes down looking on the cutter. 5 up, 5 down. And interestingly, Duvall has only seen lefties so far. Here is Verdugo, 3-2. Takes the walk with the sinker. Tying run is up. It's now a righty. Camilo Duvall's first righty of the game. It's Christian Encarnacion Strand. He hit the homer back in the 7th as he fouls that one off, and the Reds are down to their final strike here in this game. Jojo Romero warming up in the bullpen, ready to come in if necessary. But I trust Camilo Duvall to slam the door. 2-2. Swing and a miss as Encarnacion chases the slider. That was the story of the game for the Reds offense. They must have thought that the strike zone was way bigger than it actually is because they were chasing pitches well outside. And ultimately, that's a big reason for their offensive struggles, dropping this one 3-1. And San Francisco now leads this series 2-0. Cincinnati could not hit the ball. They had 2 hits in this game. They were no hit nearly through 7 innings prior to the home run by Encarnacion Strand, followed by the Keibert Ruiz single. But their offense really struggled. The plate skills were a disaster. And it's unfortunate because Nick Lodolo pitched a really good game. 5 innings of 1-run ball. I thought they took him out too early, and the bullpen struggled. This bullpen has been a problem for Cincinnati in this series. Our offense was fine, 11 hits, 3 runs. We got base runners, but we couldn't consistently score them. It didn't matter because Sandy Alcantara was just terrific. 6 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, had a no-hitter last nearly 7 innings, striking out 9, and the bullpen, De Los Santos and Duvall, slammed the door. So now we'll be going for the sweep here in Game 3. Interestingly, Atlanta leads the Padres 2-0 in the NLDS. So if all holds up, we may very well be looking at a rematch of last year's NLCS, the Braves and the Giants. But first, we've got to take care of business here in Cincinnati. I want to get this series done today. bring out the brooms and get ready for most likely Atlanta. But who knows, maybe San Diego pulls a rabbit out of their hat. The Reds are going to have to play this game like there's no tomorrow because, well, there may be no tomorrow. Their season's on the line. They're going to be sending out Tyler Glasnow, who will be going up against Logan Webb, who looks to finish this series off for San Francisco. The big issue for Cincinnati has been the offense. They've not hit the ball well through these first two games, and they've got to get it going. Tyler Glasnow on the bump, got the start in Game 2 of the wild card round, pitched quite well. Of course, the Reds got him last year at the deadline. They were the third team in the Mike Trout trade as Ian Happ starts this one off quick. Into left center, it goes off the wall. Happ looks to head for second. He is safe, but the throw is offline, and Happ is going to get up and move. Headed for third, he is safe, so it's a double for Happ, and he gets the extra base off of the throwing error by Tyler Wade. So now there's a run 90 feet away from home, and that presents the opportunity for a sacrifice. Murakami sends it high and deep into center, and that's exactly what's going to happen. This ball is caught, but the run will likely score. Throw to the plate is not in time. If not for the throwing error, this game would still be scoreless. Happ probably moves over to third base, but if the Reds get this out, then it would remain scoreless. Sure enough, they do. Blake Sabol strikes out on the fastball. So Glasnow lets up the run. It's not entirely his fault, though. And the Giants are off to an early 1-0 lead. Great way to set the tone, and we'll see if Logan Webb can get a great start today. He's certainly got some big shoes to fill after Kyle Harrison and Sandy Alcantara were terrific in games 1 and 2. Webb had an up and down season. He wasn't outstanding by any metrics, but he was solid. Chas McCormick, back healthy, back in the lineup, leads things off, and his first hit of the series is a single into left. Rodriguez with a bad throw, but luckily McCormick will hold up at first base. McCormick has a lot of postseason experience, had a big role on that 2022 Astros team. Here's Tyler Wade, swinging a miss on the slider. Great pitch by Webb. That pitch had a lot of movement inside, and it goes for out number 1. Juan Soto's up now. He has been mostly a non-factor throughout this series, and he puts it on the ground, 6-4-3, inning-ending double play, and so the Giants turn 2 and get through the frame. No no-hitter today for Logan Webb. It didn't even last one at bat, but he looked pretty good in that inning. Stone Garrett strikes out on the fastball. Nice pitch by Glasnow. That'll bring up Brendan Donovan. He's played here a lot as an NL Central foe. Sends it high and deep and left, at the track, at the wall, it's caught. We've had a number of balls go to the warning track today. That one might have been the closest, but it just does not have enough carry. Kyler Rodriguez rips this one into the gap, and that one's going for extras. Kyler has gotten one at bat in all 3 postseason games, and he's 3 for 3. A batting average of 1,000, the complete opposite of last year's postseason where he got some playing time. He drew a lot of walks, but wasn't getting base hits. Now Crawford looks to bring him in. That's lined into right, and it's gone! A 2-run homer for J.P. Crawford, and the Giants lead 3-0. I'll tell you what, that did not look like a home run off the bat, probably because at Oracle, that's a flyout into Triples Alley. But now here in Cincinnati, we're playing at one of the most hitter-friendly parks in baseball, and we're taking advantage. 3-0 lead for San Francisco. Rogers looks to make it 4-0. That ball does not have enough carry, even in Cincinnati. Maybe it would at Yankee Stadium, but that's about it. 2-run shot, though, for J.P. Crawford, and the Giants are moving fast. Lead things 3-0 as we go into the bottom of the second. Jack Sawinski leads things off for the Reds, and he goes down on the fastball. Cincinnati has to get something going early offensively. Through the first 2 games, they didn't score until the 7th inning in either. They cannot let that happen again. Here is Verdugo into right center. That goes for a 1-out base hit. So the Reds get a runner aboard. They're getting some hits together early. That was not the case in games 1 or 2. But they need to do something with these base runners. Christian Encarnacion Strand goes down to the high slider. Nice pitch by Logan Webb for the second out of the frame. Hebert Ruiz got him looking on the fastball. 2 scoreless for Logan Webb. He's let up a couple of hits, but we're seeing the strikeouts early. This Reds team clearly has a bad tendency of striking out. Webb already with 4. And similar to Sandy, he's not a strikeout guy. And in the third, speaking of punch-outs, Ian Happ, who doubled and scored his first time up, goes down on the high fastball. Munetaka Murakami was the one who brought him in with a sac fly. And, yeah, I don't know what he was swinging at there. Pitch in the dirt. Murakami's usually got great plate discipline, some of the best on the roster, but eek, that was not the pitch. Bottom 3. Logan Webb looks to retire this side, and he will. McCormick lines out to left. It's caught by Kyler. And the Reds' offense is continuing to struggle. 3 scoreless innings, and that will bring us into the 4th. Blake Sabol leads things off. He is a full count here from Glasnow, and this one is hit high and deep in the right. Sawinski at the track, at the wall. It is gone! A 4-0 lead for the Giants, and again, that's not a home run at home. That's either a fly out or off the wall for a double. But not in Cincinnati. Again, we're taking advantage of the hitter-friendly park as Blake Sabol goes deep for a second time this postseason. He homered in Game 1, gets one here today. And Stone Garrett looks to keep the hit parade going. I would argue Garrett has been one of, if not our best offensive players in this series against Cincinnati. I think it's been him and this guy, J.P. Crawford, who also has been legitimately terrific. Crawford homered his first time up. That was his second home run of the postseason. He's looking for another hit, and he gets it. Single into right. Garrett heads for third, and he is out! The aggressive base running again backfires. If there's one positive for Cincinnati, their defense in the outfield's been really good. Sawinski has thrown out runners in back-to-back games. Giants do add to the lead, though. It's 4-0, and we go bottom 4. Tyler Wade goes down on the slider. Another punch-out for Logan Webb, who is in a rhythm. As I mentioned, you need a hot rotation in the postseason to be successful. And our starting rotation, well, they're burning all right. Kyle Harrison in Game 1, Sandy Alcantara in Game 2, and now Logan Webb in Game 3. These guys are balling. Good backhanded throw by Crawford. That gets us through the 4th. The Giants 5 innings away from completing the sweep. Jun-Hoo Lee goes down on the 12-6 curve. His playoff struggles continue. He was a guy I was worried about going into the postseason because he did not have a great September. One of the few offensive players who had been struggling, and that is carried over here in October. Ian Happ strikes out as well. Good inning for Tyler Glasnow. As it's still 4-0, we go bottom 5. The Reds have not gotten a base runner since the 2nd. Their offense has gotten worse as this game has gone along. You think that was possible? Verdugo goes down on the fastball on the upper inside corner. 1-2, 2 away. Keibert Ruiz pops this one up. Looks like it's going to go into foul territory, but Jun-Hoo Lee is under it. He'll make the play. Another scoreless frame for Logan Webb. 3 consecutive perfect innings for Logan, and it's a 4-0 ball game going into the 6th. The Reds are going to make a pitching change, and guess who it is? It's Tyler Floyd. In Game 2, he led up 6 hits in 1 inning, and his postseason ERA went down. That's how bad he's been. With 1 away, Blake Sabol crushes it into center field. A pimp job from Sabol, and it's 5-0 Giants. I think it's fair to say we own this guy. We mashed off of Ty Floyd in Game 1. We mashed off him Game 2. And Blake Sabol just mashed off him here in Game 3. 428 feet, his 3rd home run of the postseason. Unlike his last at-bat, which was also a homer, that one did not scrape over the fence. So it's 5-0. Runner on first now, 2 away. Kyler Rodriguez. Oh my God, what a catch by Alex Verdugo. We nearly had another inning where Floyd would have let up 3 hits, but Verdugo is there to save the day, and Ty Floyd only lets up 1 run. Progress, baby steps. Rome was not built in a day. Bottom 6, McCormick hits it well into center. Usually that's a double, but with Tommy Rogers' speed, he tracks it down, and that'll be it for Logan Webb. 6 scoreless innings. We're not going to keep him in the 7th because that's what we did with Kyle Harrison in Game 1. He let up a home run. We kept Sandy in for Game 7 of Game 2. He let up a homer, so we're not going to make the same mistake again. We're going to ride out on top. 4 consecutive perfect innings for Logan Webb as we go into the top of the 7th. J.P. Crawford homered earlier, looking for a second one himself, and this one is high and deep in a center at the track. At the wall, it's caught. Another shot to the warning track, but McCormick is there to grab it, and Crawford, as you can see, clearly frustrated. He wanted another dinger. Jun-Hoo Lee, up the middle, base hit. That was a rocket off the bat, 110. Good to see the high exit velo from Jun-Hoo Lee. who again has struggled in the postseason. I think that's his first hit of the episode. So he's aboard, and that'll bring up Ian Happ. Count is 2-2, and he goes down on the curveball. Ty Floyd with a scoreless inning. I give him credit. He wasn't completely abysmal today. 2 innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run. Could have been worse. Genesis Cabrera out of the pen here for the Giants in the 7th. A lot of lefties coming up, so that's why we're going to start with a lefty of our own. Cabrera's first outing of the postseason, he had an ERA in the mid-3s in around 72 innings of work this year as he lets up a single to Juan Soto. And for the first time since the 2nd inning, the Reds have a base runner. 2 away for Verdugo. Swing and a miss on the fastball. 6 outs away, and we move into the 8th. The one guy on this Reds bullpen who might have a higher ERA than Floyd right now is Ian Jaibo. Why do the Reds keep going back to these guys? Do you not have other players in your bullpen? Good Lord. Jaibo gets out of the inning. Okay, what do I know? Stone Garrett goes down looking, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 8th. We're going to roll with John Schreiber. He pitched a little bit in Game 1, a scoreless frame for Schreiber, and we'll see if he can get another one here with the Giants 6 outs away from completing the sweep. 2 gone. Chapman bloops it into no man's land. Crawford makes the play, and the Giants are now 1 inning away from advancing to the NLCS for a 2nd consecutive season. We just cannot blow a 5-run lead. The Reds are going to bring in Alexis Diaz, their closer. I could understand why this looks confusing, but considering they have nothing to lose, down by 5, with 1 inning left possibly in their season, yeah, I don't blame him. Now, he did blow a save in Game 1 of the wild card round. The Reds obviously still won that game, and then he shut the door in Game 2 against the Cubs as Kyler Rodriguez draws a walk. He's aboard here, 2 away for Tommy Rogers. This one is lined up the middle. That goes for a hit. Kyler, round 2nd, heads for 3rd. The Giants are going to be aggressive again on the bases, and this time it pays off as he is safe. Runners on the corners here, and that will bring up Jung-Hoo Lee. Base hit in his last at-bat, looking for another. Ahead in the count 2-1, and he probably shouldn't have swung at that pitch, especially being ahead. Pops it into center, caught by Chas McCormick, and the Giants leave a pair on the corners. That'll bring us to the bottom of the 9th. 9-1-2 hitters look to keep this season alive for the Reds, and it'll be against Camilo Doval. It's a 5-run lead, not a traditional save situation, but I don't want any funny business. I want to close the door now. So Doval looks to shut things down. He pitched 2 scoreless innings in Game 2. 1-2 for Tyler Callahan. Flies this one into center. Rogers tracks it down. There is 1. 2 outs away from going back to the NLCS. Chas McCormick now, 2-1. He flies this one into center. Rogers under it again, and now we are 1 out away. It comes down to Tyler Wade, who has had a rough NLDS. Some bad defensive plays. It's been a non-factor at the plate. The 1-1. This one is hit into left. That goes for a hit. And the Reds are going to keep this game alive for a little bit longer. That'll bring up the superstar, Juan Soto, in his 3rd season with Cincinnati. Count sits at 1-1. Runner on first, 2 away. The game and the season on the line for the Reds as he swings and a miss on the cutter. And the Reds are now down to their final strike. Soto 1 for 3 today, singled in his last at-bat off of Genesis Cabrera. These Reds fans on their feet, hoping for a God-forsaken miracle. The 1-2. Got him looking! It's over! The San Francisco Giants are headed back to the NLCS for a 2nd consecutive season as they defeat the Cincinnati Reds by the final score of 5-0 here in Game 3. The pitching dominant again. As we look at all 3 games of this series, the Reds never scored in the first 6 innings. That's a problem. They were unable to set the tone offensively. Over the last couple of games, they're able to get a little something late. Today, they couldn't. I think that's because we took Logan Webb out at the right time and the bullpen shut the door. Solid day offensively. 5 runs, 9 hits. Blake Sabol went deep twice. J.P. Crawford was also fantastic. And then Logan Webb was terrific. These starters in this series, man, they were unbelievable. And the bullpen was really good as well. Cincinnati's offense sucked against us. There's no other way to put it. They couldn't hit the ball. They couldn't see the ball. There was no plate discipline. They drew no walks today. And, well, it doesn't help when the pitching is mediocre. I feel like their pitching wasn't that bad in these 2 games in particular, But that's not going to be enough when the offense scores a combined total of 1 run. So with that, we're going to the NLCS, and it will be Atlanta. They ultimately do sweep the San Diego Padres, so we are going to be getting a rematch. The bye does not phase these two teams for a second straight year. What about the American League? The number 1 seed Astros squeak by Cleveland, while Toronto, the 6th seed, upsets Minnesota. So we have 3 favorites, and then the Blue Jays, who are still left. As we look at Atlanta, they're quite a bit different from last year in the NLCS. Michael Harris is healthy. Ozzie Albies is not healthy, but they replaced him at the deadline with O'Neal Cruz, who has been a fantastic addition for them. The pitching was banged up throughout the NLCS last year. They are not banged up. Dylan Cease, Spencer Strider, Kyle Wright, Michael King. These guys are all ready to go. And other than Ozzie Albies, the Braves are quite healthy. Health was an issue for them last year in the championship series. They still ended up beating us in a competitive 6-game series. But we'll see if we can get revenge. They beat us last year. They wound up winning the World Series. And we've got a chip on our shoulder. The Braves do have home field, though. We'll be on the road in games 1 and 2. Still undecided with who we're going to go in terms of our starters. But it should be fun. Next episode, likely games 1 and 2 of the NLCS against Atlanta. Hope everybody enjoyed this one. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.